What is up, everybody? Today we're talking about the Biltwell Lane Splitter helmet and why I like this helmet so much I had to get two of them. Alright everybody, what is going on? It's Eric here at the Moto Jawn as always. Thanks for stopping by to another video today. Like I mentioned, we are talking about the Biltwell Lane Splitter helmet today and why I like this helmet so much I had to get two of them. So we're going to talk about how I ended up with this helmet, what I like about it, what I don't like so much about it, who this helmet is good for, and why I think it's a great helmet for Sportster riders all around. So of course, before we get started, make sure you let me know what helmets you guys are rocking with out there. Drop them down in the comments. If you have a lane splitter, let me know what you think about it. Drop it down in the comments what you like about it, what you think might be better about it. I'm curious what helmets everybody has out there and everybody's opinion on the lane splitter here. So to start it off, how did I end up with the Biltwell Lane Splitter and what is it that I like so much about it that made me get two of them? Well, for starters, when I got my very first bike, I was new to riding, of course. I had no gear. I had no gloves. I had no helmet, had no jacket, nothing. So I'm at the dealer and I'm buying my bike. And I'm like, well, I got to ride this thing home, so I'm going to need a helmet, obviously. It was at a Harley dealer. I just went upstairs. I picked out a helmet. I had to have something. And the half helmet really was fine for a little while learning to ride. You know, slow speeds around town, not really doing much. But kind of as that progressed, I got more advanced skills, going for longer trips out on the highway, going higher speeds and things like that. I knew eventually a full face helmet was going to be needed to make some of those trips a little bit more comfortable. And so as I started to dive into researching full face helmets for the first time, obviously there's a ton of great brands, ton of great options out there. The Biltwell Lane Splitters are really popular one. You see it everywhere. You see it in pictures. You see it in videos. A lot of people have it. So that's one that I was kind of naturally initially drawn to. I was really drawn to the look of the helmet here, kind of the shape, just kind of the overall simplicity of it, and I feel like it was at a really great price point too. So obviously the silver matte one here was my very first one that I got. Everybody's probably pretty familiar from seeing me that one in Instagram pictures and video stuff. Didn't take it off for quite a while, but now we're from out underneath the helmet, and this was the very first one that I got. It's a pretty reasonable price too. I got this one actually discounted on Revzilla for $150. So after I had kind of explored some other options, tried some on at some stores, tried some on at some dealers, Revzilla showroom, things like that, I really felt like this was going to be the best option for me. And again, to get the first one here in silver, it was like a discontinued color, I think. It was on Revzilla. It was discounted down to $150. The helmet does retail actually for closer to around $250. So I think it's a pretty good value for the price and some of the key factors that I'm going to talk about. I think it's a pretty good value helmet for anyone across the board. For the price compared to what you're going to get with this thing, I think it's a really good value helmet, and that's one of the reasons why I really like this. So getting it started with some of those key points that I really like about this helmet. Obviously, first off, the first one is going to be looks. It's got a very simple, basic design, kind of an old school look to it. It's a full face helmet, but it's just a very simple, basic design with not a lot of frills to it, and that's really kind of my style. Basic and simple, nothing crazy going on here. I like the shape. It is a modern helmet that kind of has that throwback, old school look and design to it. So obviously the looks was one of the first things that I was really kind of drawn to with the Biltwell Lane Splitter. So next, another thing that I really like about the Biltwell Lane Splitter is really kind of the value for the protection and quality that you get with this helmet. Like I said, when I was trying on other brands, other models, there was really kind of some weird factors that played into that I didn't like so much. There were some that had rough patches or stitching kind of on some of the contact points for your forehead or your cheeks. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because those things are touching your cheeks and your head. Some of them were a little rough, almost like sandpaper, and scratching my head when I tried them on and took the helmet on and off. So let me show you what I mean by some of the quality of the padding and protection that you're going to get with the Biltwell Lane Splitter. Here is an insert of the cheek pad. Okay, so you can see the thickness and the density there. It's very cloth and soft and smooth right here. There's nothing that's going to scratch your face. It's very thick and protective. I mean, that's in comparison to some that I had tried that had very thin padding in there. So this was really a key factor in my decision. I felt like for the quality and the price, this really seemed like a pretty protective and valuable helmet compared to some of the other ones I saw at that price point. So the Lane Splitter is, of course, DOT and ECE approved, so you have that confidence that it meets all those high quality standards and testing along the way. Now, obviously, yes, there is better, more advanced protective helmets out there up in the higher price ranges, 400s, 500s. But as far as the value and the quality of this, I think it's priced really reasonably fair at what you're getting for this. Again, maybe it's not going to be the most advanced or protective, but this is definitely a very quality shell. And again, you're going to have the quality inside padding here that I think is just a really good value compared to a lot of other helmets. Now, another reason that I like this helmet is the fit is very good. And now this is for me specifically, obviously this is going to vary from person to person. There is enough space up here in the top of the helmet for the head to fit comfortably. And then the cheek pads, again, they're going to fit nice and tight up against your cheek. Again, sizing is going to be different for everybody. Now, very early on with this helmet, I've always liked the fit, but one of the things I did was these cheek pads are very easily removable. So I started to notice that as it got worn in, the stock cheek pads, they're 29 millimeters that come with the medium-sized helmets that I have here. So what I did was I actually bought new inserts for my medium and removed the stock ones. You can buy upgraded inserts for these. I bought up to a 33 millimeter cheek pad to give a little extra space there, and that really kind of tightened up around my face and made the fit even more comfortable, even more enjoyable. So from the very first time I tried this on, for me specifically, again, everyone's head is going to be a little different, right? So this isn't going to apply to everyone. This is a medium. It fits me perfect up here in the crown. It fits me perfect along the cheeks. Once I got those inserts there, made those a little bit bigger, it fits nice and tight against the cheeks. The fit is just absolutely phenomenal for me personally. So that's really one of the key factors of a helmet, obviously, is you want that thing to be comfortable while you're out riding for hours and hours. You don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to be too loose and flying around. For me, I was able to get this thing dialed in perfectly to fit around the top of the head, around my chin, and it's perfectly comfortable for all rides that I do. So next we'll take a look at some of the structure and features of the actual helmet. Obviously, you've got the shell here. I will say this helmet does come in all different colors. Biltwell does a really awesome job of doing tons and tons of different colors to provide you with a ton of variety, different ways to customize your helmets and everything. One of the big things that you think about with helmets, obviously, is airflow and venting. You've got your 3 airflow vents right here at the bottom on the chin bar. And then, of course, you've got some airflow that's going to come in the front and out the back here, out of this back vent. So I know venting is one of the big things that people are concerned about with helmets. Obviously, these are going to stay open all the time. So, I mean, that's one of the decisions you're going to have to make when looking into the Biltwell Lane Splitter, is considering that these vents are always going to be open. Whether it's getting too hot or too cold, these are always going to be open. It has never really been an issue for me. I'm pretty simple with what I do and the way I ride. I really don't mind having this airflow in here all the time, whether it's hot or cold. So then, of course, you got your visor here. These do come stock with a clear visor. You can go into different ones. I believe they have mirror, chrome, yellow. I like to go with the dark smoke. You've got a couple different options for levels that you can set the visor at, obviously. And then when you close it, it's going to click in here at the bottom and lock nice and tight. And then as we take a closer look inside here, this will give you another idea of what it looks like from the inside, some of that padding there. You've also got your chin curtain here. This is removable. If you want to block some wind, leave it in. If you want to let some wind or airflow up in there, you can kind of take that out. So that is removable, another nice feature right there. Now, this is a great helmet for vlogging as well. This is what I've been using the whole time. You've got your space right here where you can put a chin mount. I've got some Velcro right here to Velcro my mic to. And then one of the really cool things, as I kind of flip this around here, these cheek pads, as you take them out or flip them out, this can kind of serve as a little bit of a compartment for your microphone or your wires. When I'm not vlogging, I've got my stuff secretly hidden right up in here so it doesn't bother anything at all while I have the camera off or I'm not recording. So those are some of the things I really like about the Biltwell Lane Splitter here. So what are some of the factors that I don't necessarily like about the Biltwell Lane Splitter? Well, I got to be honest with you, there's not too many, but there is just a couple minor ones that I can think of that you might want to take into consideration. So one of them kind of being the positioning of the chin strap here. So one of the things that I first noticed when I started using the Biltwell Lane Splitter is the chin strap is a little far back underneath. So when you put this thing on and strap it up, Again, this could be a sizing thing for me specifically. It was a little tight back on the throat area. So that did loosen up a little bit, but it was always just kind of a little factor that was there for me, and something to maybe consider when you try this thing on, just see where it is. Now, I will say when I got this black one here, this one's a little bit newer. This one, the chin strap is a little bit more comfortable on. So I don't know if they took some feedback from the consumers. I don't know if they moved it forward. This one, the chin strap is a little bit more comfortable. Again, this is about 2 years newer than this one, so I think there's a possibility they may have changed that somewhere along the way. Another factor to consider with this helmet, the Biltwell Lane Splitter, is this chin bar here. So I really like the look of the chin bar and kind of this Moto X style inspired chin bar that comes out. But one thing to consider is that when you're riding and you have this on and you go to turn your head to check your blind spot, some factors with me, I've noticed sometimes the chin bar will kind of get in the way and hit my shoulder, and sometimes I don't get my head around as far or as quick as I normally do. So that's just one thing to kind of take into consideration. I'm used to it now, and I can kind of look in a direction that is good for me to kind of get my head around and look into the blind spot safely. So just one thing to kind of consider with the chin bar. That's two things that I noticed that I wasn't a super fan of was the chin strap, and again, the way that this chin bar sticks out. I love the look of it, but it does kind of get in the way of your shoulder. Again, that could kind of depend on sizing. It might just be me. If anybody else has that issue out there, drop it down in the comments. Let me know if this chin bar ever kind of disrupts you looking to the side or anything like that. It's never been a huge issue for me. Just one thing that I kind of noticed when I started using this helmet was the way that the chin bar kind of moves around and kind of maybe gets in the way of your shoulder when you're looking around. So who is this helmet going to be for? Who would really get a lot of great usage out of the functionality of this helmet? And honestly, I would say really anyone is gonna benefit from this helmet, because I've kind of run the gambit of different scenarios with this helmet while having it. I really do believe that anyone from a beginner is going to benefit from this helmet, because it is a very solid, great brand, great protection, great comfortability type helmet. If you're a beginner, it's an easy price point to get into. If it's your first bike and you need a new helmet as a beginner, very good helmet for beginners. I also believe that anyone with good experience doing moderate distances, day trips, weekend trips, it's going to be comfortable and functional enough. Even if you're doing a little bit of shorter trips, it's easy to get on and off, not a lot of components or anything that's going to go wrong with it. And also, if you think about long distance, it's also great as a long distance helmet. And I know that because I've done several 1,500-mile trips, week-long trips with this helmet, and zero complaints as far as traveling on the highway, the interstate, to back roads, to the twisties, all of that stuff. I've never had any complaints doing any of those different styles of riding with the Biltwell Lane Splitter. So I really do believe that anyone interested in this helmet that it is a good fit for, go ahead and get it, man. The price point is great. The padding, the inner padding is really going to be comfortable for you. Anyone from a beginner to a moderate rider to a long distance rider, I've done all those, been in all those scenarios, and this thing has performed perfectly for me, at least, through all those different scenarios. And then, of course, to wrap it up, I also mentioned at the beginning why I think this is the perfect match of a helmet for Sportster riders. And why is that? I believe it's a perfect match for Sportster riders because, listen, it's a no-frills, basic, safe, good helmet, just like the Sportster. Sportster is a stripped-down, basic, no-frills type of bike. This is a good helmet that's going to kind of match that style, match that type of riding. If you're getting into some of those rides with your Sportster, like I said, whether it's moderate to long distance, this thing is going to match your bike perfectly. Specifically me, I believe, with the silver matte color here and the black, matches my Iron 1200 perfectly. The way the helmet kind of flows with the lines and the style of the bike. Again, I think when you think about the simplicity and the beautiful design of the Sportster, it really kind of matches the beautiful, simple design of the Lane Splitter while you're still getting that good value and good protection out of this helmet. So that's a little bit about my thoughts here on the Biltwell Lane Splitter. That's why I like this helmet so much that I had to get 2 of them. Let me know your thoughts on the Biltwell Lane Splitter, or what other helmets you guys and gals are rocking out there. I could potentially be in the market for some different helmets just to switch it up every now and then. I'll be curious to hear some opinions on everybody else's helmets out there. Also curious, of course, to hear the opinions on the Biltwell Lane Splitter. And if you have any questions on the Lane Splitter that we didn't cover here today, any of my experiences or anything I can help you out with, if you have any questions on the Lane Splitter, drop them down there. I'll try to get those answered as well. So of course, that is going to wrap it up for today, talking about the Biltwell Lane Splitter helmet. I think it's a great option. It's a great choice. So as always, make sure you ride safe out there. Make it a good one, guys. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road. Peace.